On an archaeological dig along the route of HS2, archaeologists have uncovered signs of occupation from the prehistoric to the 19th century. Early excavations revealed signs of Bronze Age, Iron Age and Roman people, but what archaeologists didn't expect to find were the well-preserved remains of an extensive Elizabethan garden. With comparisons to Kenilworth Castle and even Hampton Court Palace, our team of archaeologists led by Wessex Archaeology have revealed ornamental Elizabethan gardens of national significance. So join me as we explore these tremendous gardens and the aristocratic families who walked in them as we uncover the history of Colesall's past. So Stu, whereabouts are you taking me now?
So we're just coming down to our amazing gatehouse that we've uncovered recently, and we're just finishing off now. We're just taking the final pieces of the spoil away. And this has been utterly amazing. I don't think I'll ever get the chance to see something like this again on an archaeological site.
Let's have a closer look. So are we okay just to walk along here? I see it looks very clean at the moment.
We're good on here, but we won't go too much closer because of the height of it.
It feels like we're kind of at the entrance to a castle almost. Why is that?
It really does feel like an entrance to a castle, and although this isn't quite a castle, it's very similar to one in that they really want to show off the wealth that they have and really show their power and importance in this area. And it's very similar to another castle just down the road, which is Maxstoke Castle. But again, there, it's not a true castle. It has a large gatehouse and has walls around the outside, but it's actually just a fortified manor house, but with really massive walls and a huge gatehouse. And we know this house here in its earlier history was actually owned by the same family. So we suspect that the gatehouse here either took inspiration from the gatehouse at Maxstoke, or even potentially this gatehouse gave the inspiration to the one at Maxstoke.
And we know that the family who first built this, they fell into a little bit of political disrepute, didn't they?
They did. They made a bit of a grave error. So what we think, in terms of the dating, we think it was potentially built around 1400. But there's something more intriguing, that we know that in 1494, Simon de Montfort, he spent more money on the house and he actually had it fortified. And it doesn't say what he fortified, we just know that he fortified it in some form. And if there's anything that would ever say fortification, it would be this gatehouse. So we suspect that we might have actually a very specific date as 1494 for when this was built. And that's because Simon de Montfort, he started wanting to support Perkin Warbeck in the rebellion against the king in the later year. Unfortunately, that didn't go to plan, and Simon Digby had Simon de Montfort hung, drawn and quartered at the Tower of London. And from that, Simon Digby actually took hold of the house and all of the possessions associated with it.
Wow, and so you can really appreciate why the Digby and the de Montfort family may not have got along so well from that result.
No, definitely not. And you would be a bit annoyed, wouldn't you, if your kind of opposing family came to your big house and took over your gatehouse from you without even having a battle.
And did this gatehouse stay up during the Digby reign, if we can call it that?
It did. So what we hypothesise at the moment, and this is what's really exciting and really is the most incredible thing about this site, is we actually think it was taken down or just after the Civil War, or around the Civil War that started in 1642. And what our kind of belief at the moment is that actually the first battle of the Civil War took place right in this spot and not up the road 2 miles away at Kerbworth Bridge. So what we know about the Digby family at this time is they were a royalist family. They supported the king at this time. And we know at Kerbworth Bridge there was the first battle of the Civil War, and that was obviously between the royalists and the parliamentarians. So what we know is the royalists were kind of escaping up through the country, and they went up to Kerbworth Bridge. Now the parliamentarians chased them from Kenilworth Castle.
Actually chase them.
Chase them through,
Yeah.
trying to head them off to go into battle. So they went up through the countryside, through Warwickshire. But what's interesting is we know that this point here is on that route to Kerbworth Bridge. And we know here as well, there's another bridge just behind me on Birmingham Road across the River Cole. So it's another really key strategic point in the area between Birmingham and Coles Hill itself. So, what gives us more evidence for that? What, ties that together? Because at the moment, we're saying it's Royalist family and there's parliamentarians coming past it.
So that's our history, but where's
It
our
is.
archaeological evidence?
So where we get that from is behind us on this amazing gatehouse, we have multiple shots from musket ball fire on it. So we think we have up to 42 impacts from musket balls, and there's musket balls all littered in the soil that we've taken away. So we found that through metal detecting and through kind of sifting through the soil. And from that, we can see that this gatehouse was attacked. And we believe, looking at the other archaeological evidence on site, that the house was then pulled down later on in the Civil War. So we think what's happened, the house has been attacked in 1642, then the Digbys have had to kind of flee the area. And at that point, when they've come back maybe 5-10 years later, they've taken down the old house and then they've rebuilt a new one on top of the original one.
Now, what are our plans next for this area? Are we going to dig any more?
So we've got a bit more to dig out. So just behind you, this area that we need to dig out, we're going to be taking all of that area out and we'll be able to have a really good look and see what we can find. So we've actually found a couple of shoes in this area already. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to try and do some different techniques. So we're going to be looking at trying to really well record these musket balls by taking high quality photos, and then we're going to try doing lasers and try and create a 3D model out of this building so it can be preserved throughout history, so everyone can always come back and refer to this gatehouse and see it as a great example of medieval architecture.
Amazing. Well, let's get this last bit of slop out and hopefully find some shoes.
Let's hope so.
Brilliant. The remains on the site at Coleshill are truly incredible, but archaeologists have only just started scratching the surface. What happens next is going to be lots of work in post-ex, where our specialists will look at the finds, they'll examine the environmental remains to uncover more of Coleshill's amazing past.